I'm going to walk you through on the introduction to Python for data analysis. And this course is simplified for absolute beginners. So if you have no previous knowledge or experience in data analysis or data analysis using Python or Python programming, this course is for you. And if you are finding it difficult, if you're confused about Python for data analysis, you want to start Python for data analysis and you don't know where to start from, or you're still confused about Python, this course is for you. Now, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to define Python, understand and explain data analysis using Python, understand why Python is used for data analysis. You should be able to know 5 Python mistakes every data analyst beginners make and how to avoid them. You should be able to identify Python libraries that are used for each data analysis. And finally, you should be able to understand data analysis workflow. Now, let's go into what we have. What is Python? Python is a high-level language and it reads close to plain English, so beginners can learn it quickly. Python is just like when you're speaking English and you're trying to write the English in a code. You're trying to write whatever you want to speak, the statements that you want to make. You're trying to write it using a code. Python is easy to learn and read. Python is simple. It has clean syntax that make code easy to write and understand. Python is free and open source. You don't need any subscription or any cost to download Python. It runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux without changes to your code. Python is widely used and it is trusted across finance, tech, health, research, and more. Now, next, we'll be looking at meaning of data analysis using Python. What is data analysis using Python? Data analysis is the process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and interpreting data using Python to uncover useful information that supports decision making. So if you're carrying out data analysis with Python, what you're doing is data analysis using Python. Now, the goal of data analysis is to extract insights from raw data. Next, we'll look at why do we use Python for data analysis. Why do we use Python for data analysis? Because it has simple syntax. Python syntax is clean and readable, and less code can do more work for you. Python is free and open source. You don't need any license to use Python. Python handles large data sets, unlike other lesser programming languages, and it processes big data efficiently. Python has powerful libraries that is ready-made tools for every analysis. So if you want to perform any analysis in using Python, data analysis using Python, it has a specific library that is meant for each analysis. For example, visualization has its own library, reading of files, data cleaning and all that. It has its own library. Then Python has strong community. It has huge support network and resources. Finally, Python is industry trusted. It is used by top global communities, companies like Google, Netflix, Amazon, and Meta. Next, we'll be looking at applications of Python. Let's look at applications of Python. In business analytics, we use Python to analyze business data to support strong decision making. In finance, we use Python to perform financial analysis. Also in healthcare, Python is used to analyze patient data to improve healthcare outcomes. In marketing, Python is used to analyze customer behavior and marketing campaign performance. Also in artificial intelligence, Python is used to develop intelligent systems that mimic human decision making, for example, robots. Also in machine learning, Python is used to train models to predict patterns from data. In data science, Python is used to clean, analyze, visualize, and model complex data sets. Finally, in research, Python is used to process experimental data and support scientific discovery. Now, next, we are going to be looking at Python libraries for data analysis, libraries and their functions in data analysis. Now, let's look at Python libraries for data analysis. So Python provides specialized libraries that make data analysis faster, easier and efficient. Now let's look at them one after the other. We'll be looking at the libraries, the purpose and example where to use them. The first one is NumPy. NumPy is a Python library that is fast numerical and mathematical computation using arrays. So example or is when you're looking at average, sum, statistics, and metric operation, you must import Python. The next library is Pandas. Pandas is used for data manipulation, data cleaning, filtering, and data analysis. Pandas is also used to read files inside Python. So example is you use it to read CSV files, Excel files into Python. You also use it to Pandas to handle missing values and also group data. Now the next library is Matplotlib. Matplotlib creates basic charts. So if you want to create basic charts and visualization, you must import Matplotlib. And also some of the charts that you can use Matplotlib to create are bar charts. You can use it to create line charts, pie charts, histogram, and scatter plots. Now the next library is Seaborn. Seaborn You use Seaborn to create attractive statistical visualizations on Matplotlib. And examples of the charts you can use it to create are heat map, box plots, violin, and pair plots. So if you want to create statistical visualization on Matplotlib, you must import Seaborn. Now, the next library in Python is Plotly. Plotly is used to create interactive and web-based visualization. And examples of visuals that you can use it to create are dashboards. You can use Plotly to create dashboards in Python. You can use it to create map, 3D and hover effects charts. Then the next Python library for data analysis that we'll be talking about is SciPy. SciPy is used for advanced scientific and statistical computing, and you use it in hypothesis testing, optimization, and in distribution. Finally, the last library that we're going to be talking about is scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is used in machine learning and predictive analysis, and we use it in classification, regression, clustering, and in model evaluation. Next, we'll be looking at data analysis workflow. Let's look at data analysis workflow. The first one is data collection. The first one is data collection. This is where you gather data from reliable sources. After data collection, the next step is data importation, reading or importing data into Python. Then the next step is data cleaning. Data cleaning is where you remove inconsistencies, where you remove errors, where you handle missing values, NaN and null values and the rest of them, where you detect outliers and treat outliers. So these are the things that you do in data cleaning. Data exploration. So for you to explore your data, this is where you check the trends, the patterns, and the data structure. Then after data exploration, the next one is data analysis, where you analyze your data. So for you to analyze your data, you're checking the trend, you're trying to get insights from your data. You're trying to get meaningful insights from the data. After data analysis, the next one is what you visualize those insights that you got from using charts. You visualize those insights using chart and graph. After visualizing them, the next one is what you draw conclusion. Now, you're not supposed to skip every step, because if you skip data cleaning, your outcome might be totally wrong. Not even might. If you skip data cleaning, you will have a wrong outcome. You will have a wrong conclusion. So it is better for us to follow it step one after the other, step by step. After importing, you clean. And as you're cleaning, make sure you study the data very well before cleaning it. Make sure that each format is in the real format. Next, we'll be looking at Python versus Excel. We want to compare Python and Excel. Now let's look at Python versus Excel. Excel is best for small data sets, while Python handles large data sets. In fact, Excel can handle around 1 point something million rows, while Python can handle as many as, in fact, using pandas, depending on the libraries that you're using. PySpark can handle millions and trillions of rows in Python, depending on what your system can carry. Excel is manual, while Python is automated. Excel is limited scalability, while Python has high scalability. Then Excel is GUI based, while Python is code based. Finally, Excel is difficult to repeat many tasks, while Python easily repeat tasks. Then next, we'll be looking at Python mistakes every data analyst make. In fact, I made most of these mistakes when I was learning Python for data analysis. 5 Python mistakes every data analyst beginners make. And like I said earlier, when I was learning data analysis using Python, I also made most of these mistakes. In fact, I made all the mistakes. And this is common mistakes most beginners make it while learning Python for data analysis. The first one is what? Not importing the required library. Forgetting to import pandas and NumPy or matplotlib before using them. So if you did not import the right library while using Python for data analysis, you will have error. The next one is what? Ignoring missing values. Analyzing data without checking NaN or null values. If you ignore missing values while analyzing your data, you will have the wrong conclusion. Your analysis will be wrong. You will not get the right insights from the data. The next one is using the wrong data types, treating numbers as string and leading to incorrect calculation. So if you have if your number is if you have integer and you are trying to treat integer as string, you will still get error. So it is better for you to use the right data type. If your data type is not in the right format, you must convert it. You must convert it during data cleaning. If it is date, you must convert it from object to date. If it is number or whatever float, it must be in that particular data type before you can be able to use them. The next mistake is not inspecting the data set first. In fact, this is one of the first things you should do when you get a data first. The first thing you do is what? You inspect the data sets. You use some method like dot head. Dot head will give you that's where you see the head of your data set. And in Python, once you run dot head, you see the first 5 head of your data sets. Then the next one is dot info. It will give you the information about your data set. Then the next one is what? Dot describe. Describe will give you the descriptive statistic of your data set, the mean, max, the standard deviation, minimum value, maximum value, the count, everything that you have in your data set. Running .describe in Python will bring them out for you. So it is better for you to inspect your data sets first before you start your data analysis. Then the next one is what? Forgetting to save changes. So if you make any changes in Python, for example, you must assign a value to it. You must assign a name. Let's assume that I made any changes from this to that. I must assign a name to that. Okay. Next, we'll be looking at popular tools for Python. Popular tools for Python, we have Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook allows interactive coding and visual outputs. The next one is Google Colab. Google Colab is free and cloud-based notebook. The next one is VS Code. VS Code is versatile code editor and it is lightweight. The next one is what? Spider. Then the next one is PyCharm. PyCharm allows full featured Python environment. So it has full featured Python environment. Then the last one is Anaconda. Anaconda is just like all-in-one data science platform. Inside Anaconda, you have so many data science and data analysis tools. So these are popular tools for Python. Next, we'll look at real-world example. Let's look at real-world example. The project you can do using Python. One of them is analyzing supermarket sales. While analyzing supermarket sales, you can find total revenue using Python, and that's to sum all transactions to see overall performance. The next thing is to identify top selling products. That is to spot which item derive the most sales. The next one is visualize monthly sales and trends. That is chart trend over time to guide planning. So this is the one of the simple projects that you can do using Python. Let's look at career opportunities. You can work as a data analyst where you analyze data to generate business insights and reports. You can work as business analyst where you use data to improve business processes and decision. You can work as a data scientist where you build predictive models using statistics and machine learning. You can work as a machine learning engineer where you develop and deploy machine learning models into applications. You can also work as AI engineer where you design intelligent systems using artificial intelligence technologies. You can also work as a research analyst where you collect, analyze, and interpret data for research findings. And all these career opportunities, you can do that using Python. So long as you know Python for data analysis, you can do all this. Let's look at the summary. Python is powerful and beginner friendly. Python simplifies data analysis. In summary, Python is powerful and beginner-friendly. Python simplifies data analysis and data science. Python libraries make analysis faster, and Python skills are highly valuable in today's market. Now, in our next video, we'll be looking at the practical sections. First of all, we'll be looking at how to install Python, because Python is what you will be using for the data analysis using Python. So we'll be using Python to write the codes that are required for the data analysis. Then we'll be using Jupyter Notebook to write our Python codes. Then we'll look at what variables are. Then we look at data types. After looking at data types, the next thing is what? How to read data sets into Python. Then finally, we are going to have a small data analysis project. So with this project, if you can be able to understand this project using a very small data set, so that everything that is going on inside the data sets, you will be able to see them. So after that, we will go into advanced data analysis projects using Python. And I will see you in our next video.